Hello everyone, welcome to FOC Class 11. Today we are going to start part 6 of Java for Class 11 IT. So let us begin. Now let us see what we are going to study today. We will be studying the topics class, object, data members and methods in this part. So we had started object-oriented programming and now we will be studying all these topics related to object-oriented programming. Also, these all videos uploading, these are for class 11, and if you are class 12 student and you want videos for Java class 12, then you can see the videos on our another channel, FOC class 12. The class 12 Java videos are uploaded there. So let us begin. So let us start with our first topic, class and object. A class is used to encapsulate data and methods together in a single unit. As we have talked about data encapsulation in the previous video, you must have remembered that it is a very important concept and I also explained it to you. So basically, class is used for data encapsulation, and in data encapsulation, we encapsulate data and methods together in a single unit. So for this purpose, for data encapsulation, we use a class. It helps the programmer to keep the data members in various visibility modes, depending upon what kind of access needs to be provided in the remaining part of the application. So basically, there are various visibility modes, as their name is suggesting. They are something related that to whom it is visible or to whom it is not visible, like these. So basically there are various visibility modes, and the class helps the programmer to keep the data members in various visibility modes, and these visibility modes will be dependent on what kind of access needs to be provided in the remaining part of the application. Means there is one part in which we have provided our visibility mode and there is remaining part of the application, so we can decide that what kind of access we need in that remaining part of application. Here are the three types of visibility modes: private, public, protected. So these three are the types of visibility modes and we will be studying them in detail. Now, if we talk on a general basis, then usually data members of a class are kept in private or protected visibility modes, and methods are kept in the public visibility mode. So as we studied that there are three modes, so basically in these three modes, we keep the data members in private or protected visibility mode, and we keep the methods in public visibility mode. This we are talking about the general thing that we do. An object is an instance of a class that is capable of holding actual data in memory locations. Class and objects are related to each other in the same way as data type and variables. So we were talking about class and object. We have talked about class, that it is used for data encapsulation. Now let us discuss about object. What is object? Basically, an object is an instance of a class. So we have created a class, it has various data in it. So one instance of a class is known as an object, and this object is capable of holding actual data in memory locations. So basically, in class, the data is directly not stored, the data is stored in the form of object. So basically the object holds the actual data, and where does it hold data? It holds the data in memory locations. Class and objects are related to each other in the same way as data type and variables. So the relation between class and object is same as the relation between data type and variables, means these two are connected to each other in the same way these two are connected. Means that, for example, object is an instant of class. So in the similar way, if we just take an example, a hypothetical example, then we can say that variable is a kind of object and data type is a type of class. So in this way, we can say that they are related to each other in the same way. Here we have taken some example. These examples are just to make you clear the concept of class and object, and these are not the real examples of class and object which we are talking about in Java programming. These are hypothetical examples which we are just taking to make you understand the concept of class and object. So first example, when we declare float variable named marks, the variable marks can be thought of as an object type float which can be assumed as the class. So as I just told you that you can think that in this example of variable and data type, you can think that a variable is a kind of object, and so what will be the class? The class will be the data type. So here we have chosen the variable marks, so it will be an object, and here we have chosen the class as float because it is a data type. So here in this example, we just want to make it clear that class is a bigger aspect and object is a smaller aspect, or we can say that object is the subset of the class. So here we have assumed our class to be float and the object to be marks. Now let us take another example. Here human is a class. We have supposed that human is a class. Then Mr. Arun Shah and Mr. Anik Ram, means these two any persons. These are the object of human class. So we have supposed this as a human class, and we have supposed any two persons whose name are Mr. Arun Shah and Mr. Anik Ram. So these two persons will be the object of this human class, and any other human or we can say any other person in this world will be the object of the human class. So I hope this concept of class and object is clear to you. Now let us talk about data members and methods. A class contains data members and methods. So basically a class will contain two things. First is data members and second is methods. We will understand through example what are data members and methods. First of all, let us talk about the hypothetical example that we had just taken to clearly understand these concepts. We took the class as human and we took an object Mr. Arun Shah. Now, what will be the data? Basically, data is anything that the brain or the memory is processing. So anything processed or retained by the memory will be the data. So here we have just taken example of phone numbers. The phone numbers retained by Mr. Arun Shah in his brain memory will be the data. So basically these numbers are taken or retained by the memory of Mr. Arun Shah, means by the memory of the object. So these numbers will be the data. Then methods: eyes, ears, nose and mouth. So methods, as their name is suggesting, that they are methods to do something. So basically in simple language we can say that methods are the ways to perform some operation on the data. So here his eyes, ears, nose and mouth can be considered as various methods which allow Mr. Arun Shah to collect, modify and delete data from his memory. So these methods means basically these are organs, but we are just taking example. So we are calling them methods. So these methods, what will be they doing? They will be allowing Mr. Arun Shah to modify this data, to delete it, to collect it, modify it, to perform operation on this data. So we can just remember that methods are used to perform some operations or some specific task on the data. For example, eyes will help us to see, ears will help us to listen. So they have specific tasks. So every method will have a specific task. In real Java programming, till now we were talking about a hypothetical example of human class. Now we are talking about real Java programming. Now let us understand that what are classes, object, data members, methods in terms of real Java programming. So basically we were talking about data. Data will be required to conform to a specific data type, as in char, int, float, or double. So we were taking different data. For example, in previous example, if we are talking about phone numbers, then phone number will be of type int. So in this way, data will be required to conform to a specific data type. Means whichever data we are taking, whether it be a name, number, place, or anything, it will have a data type. If we are talking about name, then it will have character data type. If we are talking about any number, then it can be of integer type, float type, or double type. In this way, the data will be conformed to a specific data type, whereas the method will be a sequence of steps written together to perform a specific task on the data. So basically, in programming, while we are writing a program, we are writing the code for it, we are writing a sequence of steps. Means the steps are written in a sequence and we write them together. So why do we write them? Basically we want to perform some specific task and we want to perform that task on data. So for this purpose, for performing a specific task on the data, we use methods. So we can say that methods will be a sequence of steps written together. Means there will be a steps written together, there will be a sequence of steps which we will write together. And why will we use them? To perform some specific operation, some specific task on the data. The methods of specific classes are able to manipulate data of their respective classes efficiently, resulting in better security of data in an object-oriented programming. So basically, as we were talking about methods, methods will belong to specific classes. Means we have given some specific methods in some specific classes. So those methods will be able to manipulate. Manipulate means modify, change. So these methods of specific classes will only be able to change the data of their respective classes. Means whichever method is defined in one class, it can manipulate the data of that class only efficiently, resulting in better security of data. As we talked in the beginning of object-oriented programming, that the main purpose or the main aim is to make the data secure, it more secure. So basically by methods, we are making the data more secure. Why? Because the methods of specific class will be able to manipulate data of their own respective class and not of any other class. So in this way, the methods of different classes will not manipulate each other's data. They can only manipulate the data of their own specific class. Now, here is an example we have taken, class employee. So here is a class and here are three objects, object employee 1, employee 2 and employee 3. And here Under the class, you can see that there are data members and methods, as we just talked that a class contains data members and methods. So here the class is employee and it has 3 data members and 3 methods. The data members are emp number, name, salary. Then methods are add new employee, display employee, calculate salary. So as we just talked, that data is anything that we are retaining or we are processing, we are taking as input. So here what we will be taking? We will be taking the number, the name, the salary, and how we will be performing operations on these data. We will be performing operations using methods. So there are 3 methods of adding new employee, displaying employee, and calculating salary. So these are the 3 methods we have used for these purposes. Then in the object, you can see that there are 3 bullet points in under each object. So what are these representing? Basically, these are the data members of each object. As we just talked about that the class contains data members and methods and the actual data is in the object. So here you can see that the data members and methods are inside the class, but the real data, the actual data is inside the object. So here the data is, here first data member is 1001, then Arun Shah, then 38,000. So this is the salary, this is the name, and this is the employee number. So in the similar way, we have provided data for other 2 objects, and through this example, we understood the basic concept that there is class, it will contain data members and methods, and class has objects. As we talked, object is an instance of class. So here are 3 instances, and these 3 instances are employee 1, employee 2, and employee 3. And as we can see that data members and methods are in the class, whereas the actual data is in the object. I hope this much is clear to you. Now here we are talking about another example, class, and it has 2 objects, object 1 J text field 1 and object 2 J text field 2. The class has data members and methods. The data members are text, editable, enabled, tooltip text, and the methods are set text, get text, set editable, set enabled, set tooltip text. So basically here in this another example, we have taken a class JText field and we have taken 2 objects, JText field 1 and JText field 2. So as we talked in previous example also, the class will contain the data member and method, and the real data, the actual data will be in the object. So here you can see the real or actual data is in the object and the data members and methods are present in the class. So let us see another example. Here another example is class JLabel. So it also has various objects, object 1, object 2, JLabel 1, JLabel 2. Basically these are the names of the object, and this is the name of the class JLabel. So class will have data members and methods. As you can see, here are 3 data members and 4 methods, and the actual data is in the objects. Here you can see that we have various classes like JText field, JRadio button, JCheckbox. We have talked about all of these components in our previous video where we were covering about the components in the NetBeans IDE. We had covered all these components, JText field, JRadio button, and all of them in the NetBeans part. So we have taken all these components as classes. If those components were classes, then what will be the objects? The components that we are selecting, they will have some object. Whenever we are selecting them, we are dragging them to the J frame, then the component which is coming, it is actually the object. So J text field 1, J radio button 1, J checkbox 1, all these are examples of objects. Then there will be different methods such as set text, set enabled, POW, substring. So basically, we have taken different methods in different classes. For example, if we talk about text field, then it had set text, get text, and many more. So basically, we have different methods for different classes, and where the data is actually stored, the data is actually stored in object. So we basically use these methods in the objects. Data members. Now, as we talked that class will contain the data members and methods. Methods we have already discussed. Here are data members. Data members are text, enabled, editable. Means, as I told you in the explanation of data members and methods, that methods are used to perform specific task on data. So the methods like set text, what operation, or it will perform operation on what? So it will perform operation on text. Set enabled, set editable, it will perform operation on what? It will perform operation on editable. It will perform operation on enabled. In this way, we perform the operations or specific tasks on the data members using the methods. So here the data members are text, editable, enabled, and the methods are set text, set editable, set enabled. Like this, the data members and methods work. The properties like text, enabled, editable are actually the data members in the class. Why? Because they store specific value as data. So as I just told you that what is data? Anything retained or processed or taken as input. So whatever we are taking, it will store some specific value as data. Means if we are taking data, then it will be taken in some form, it will be taken in some form of specific values. So these specific values are stored as data, and how, in what form they are stored? They are stored as data members. For example, the property text of JText field 1 object contains the actual text to be displayed in the text field. Means if we are talking about the property text and here is the object JText field 1, so it will contain some actual data. As we just talked that object contains the actual data and the class contains data members and methods. So the actual data will be contained in the object. And what is the object? JText field 1. It will contain the actual text which will be displayed in the text field. Thank you. That was all for today. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you have any doubt, please comment in the comment box or message us on Telegram app. We'll meet you soon in the next video. Till then, bye bye.